Hi Beavers! So here we are again, another craft for you to do this week. Now this week on Thursday the 23rd of April, it's St George's Day, right? And St George's is the day all over the world that we remember our patron saint and Scouts renew their promises. So as Beavers, if you remember the Beaver promise, I promise to do my best, to obey my leaders and parents and to be a good beaver. Yeah, that's what we do on Thursday. So, legend has it that St. George battled a dragon, and at the time, dragon represented evil. So, I thought we might like to make our own little fire-breathing dragons this week. And he's green and yellow, so he's a first Wigton dragon. So that should please our Kayla. Okay, so let's crack on and see how are we going to make our fire-breathing dragon. So first of all, you need a tube, or we can make one. So, toilet roll tubes. I'm sure we've got lots of those around the house. If you cut a line in the tube, but don't go right up to the top, and you'll need an adult to help you. So you get a split, and then you just push the ends together so that one end is a little bit narrower than the other, and then use a bit of tape. You get a kind of a cone shape. Yeah, so one end's a little bit bigger than the other one. That's going to form the dragon's face. If you haven't got a toilet tube, don't worry, you might have some green card. That can either be covered or painted, but I happen to have some green card just because I've always got crafty things in. So I'm going to kind of make my own tube. And again, I'm going to be using double-sided sticky tape because it's easier when we're doing these films than me trying to get glue to stick in time. So all I've done with my green card, I'm curling it round to make a tube, and I'm making one end slightly smaller than the other, a bit like we've just done with the toilet tube. And I'm just going to level that off because I've just made that tube, although yours will be easier if you've used the inside of a toilet roll. So snip that down, and there we've got our dragon's head, as it were. The next thing the dragon had, if you have a look, he's got some spikes on top of him there. So again, I've used yellow card, you can use white card, and you can colour it yellow, or you can make your dragon any colour you want. I'm sure it won't matter. But after last week and not putting any green and yellow onto my bird feeder, I have to use green and yellow this week. So with the yellow card, I'm going to fold it into two. Like so. And then I'm going to cut some zigzags in it. So, one zigzag. Now I'm not cutting all the way down to the bottom because I'll show you why in a little while. So you're going to cut some triangles just so you get some zigzags cut out of it. So it ends up looking like that. With the other end, what you're going to do is, that's the end that you didn't fold over. You're going to open it up and you'll see if you fold back one side, I'm just going to show you there, that's the bit, one side I've folded back, and I'm going to fold back the other side so that I end up with my spikes, but they've got like a little bit of card on either side that actually they can stand up on their own. There, you can see that. So again, I'm just going to use my double-sided tape to stick those onto the head of the dragon. But again, you can use glue. Whatever you've got in your house is fine, and actually it's really good when I see all the different ways you guys are doing these crafts. You don't have to do them exactly the same as me. And like I say, it's quite interesting when I see how you've done them the same or different. So you want this to go down onto your dragon, onto his head, and stick that in place. So there's my dragon's head, and he's now got his nice yellow spikes on there. The next thing I'm going to put on is his nostrils, his fire-breathing nostrils. Now I happen to have, the same as I had from Christmas last time, I've got these little like green balls here, but you can use anything. If you've got tissue paper, you can scrunch it up and make little tissue paper balls. Whatever you've got in your house is fine. And again, I'm using glue dots just for speed. And I'm going to glue or stick a nostril. Oh, can make glued up. I'm going to stick a nostril right at the end. There's one nostril of the spikes. And I'll just put a glue dot. They're very sticky, these glue dots. And I'll just put another glue dot on the other side for his other nostril. And again, you can use tissue paper. So there we've got the dragon's nostrils on the end of his spikes. Then we need his eyeballs. Okay, so again, for his eyeballs, I happen to have some of these left over that we're using. Quite handy, these ones for craft, these little ping pong balls. But again, you just roll up tissue paper, or I'll tell you what you might have that would be good, which I don't have, some cotton wool balls. It might be that you've got cotton wool balls in your house, so you can stick those on instead. And you stick those at the other end of your tube, the big end of your tube, which is going to be like the head of your dragon. And we put those on. So now we've got our spikes. We've got the big balls at the back. They're going to be the eyeballs. And then we've got the little ones at the front, which are going to be the nostrils. Now at the moment, you can't see very well our dragon. So we've got the good old googly eyes. We love our googly eyes. So I'm going to put a little glue dot on the back of my googly eyes because they're not the self-adhesive ones. And I'm going to stick that at the front of the eyeball. So now he can see out of one eye. Then I'm going to do exactly the same. We'll put it on my eye first. Peel the backing off. That's made that sticky. And stick that on that eye. There we go. So there's my dragon's face. But at the moment, he's not breathing any fire. So what I'm going to do with that is, now I've got tissue paper. If you don't have tissue paper, that's absolutely fine. You can use regular paper. You could use toilet paper. You could colour something, different papers in. It's entirely up to you. And all I'm doing with the paper, tissue paper, I'm cutting it into strips. My scissors have got a little bit of glue on there. Cutting it into long strips like so. Now if you fold the strip in half, and then again you can glue on the inside of your dragon's mouth. I'm just going to put a little bit of double-sided tape in there. Actually, it's a bit easier with glue to do this one. I can't get the end of my tape. I've obviously not got my tongue in the right place. Okay, and what you do here is you're just going to stick the little strips of tissue paper around where you've glued in the mouth. That's not doing it at all, so let me grab my glue. I can't get hold of that just now. So, put a little splodge of glue in there. Just enough to show you what I'm talking about. So I've just put a little bit of glue on the inside in his mouth. So then you get your strips of paper and you just go around and you stick different strips of paper in there. And that's the dragon breathing his fire. And you keep sticking the bits of paper all the way around. Now I had strips of red, and I also had some strips of orange, and I also had some strips of yellow. But you don't have to do that. You can do whatever's available to you, okay? This is not about copying me exactly. It's what you can find in your house. And there you have it. That's all the strips that I stuck around inside my dragon's mouth. As you can see, that one there has got red eyes. This one here has got green eyes. But you can do yours however you want. It will be really interesting to see how you do it. Another way of doing it, if you've used your toilet roll, you can paint it or you can colour it. If you've got lots of tissue paper, you can just cover it in the tissue paper to make it green. Or you could use a cup. This one's a polystyrene cup, but you could use a paper cup just as easily. And the thing that I found with the paper cup, and you could still stick your eyes on there and paint it green, is when you've got your strips of fire, your fire breathing strips, with an adult's help, you can actually, you can see I've had a test of it here, you can make a little hole in the cup with some scissors and you can just poke in the fire. Oh, that stuck on my finger then when it came out. So that you get your fire breathing out of the end of the cup. Yeah, fantastic. So let's see all these wonderful dragons that you can produce for St. George's Day, or whenever this week. And it'd be lovely to see it, okay? Don't forget, if you can on Thursday, we're all going to have a big camp out as well. If you can't, it's not a problem. But I'd love to see your photographs, and then we can pop them on the Facebook page. And a happy St. George's Day to you all. Okay, take care. See you next week. Bye.